in that wherever I mentioned it, and it was like we only picked that day like a day or two before, so that's why I haven't told anyone yet. But obviously, you guys are always welcome.
Having a party, you guys can't come though.
Well, yeah. Okay. Usually you would say I'm busy in the chat, but I got a party, but you don't want to assume though. So
yeah, I'll put a thing in the somewhere. So
well, Taylor said he's coming, so I'm coming. So
on the group, not in the chat.
I don't even know what day it is off the top of my head. So if
it's Friday the 20th.
Yeah, because you said
Boom.
no.
Thanks.
No Donald.
I even know Dylan's like.
So yeah, 20th. Everyone's invited, including Greg and other people and stuff.
Who the fuck's Greg?
You know, $97
Our
Patreon
lawyer
man.
fan, dude.
Oh, that Greg. Okay.
Because I thought we were recording. So.
We are recording. I wish he'd come to. I want to meet some of these fans. You know.
Cool. So. If you live in Kelowna, let us know.
I really hope Greg does it.
Show up to the party.
Well, that too, but the $97 is.
I think he will.
I don't know. I should take that back because I think technically on the 3 year I said 100 patrons, not $100.
You said $100 worth.
Yeah, but he could
Tyler
just
was talking, doing numbers.
He could make 97 accounts.
I will do it for it, but
I bet the website doesn't have a limit of how many accounts you can have.
No, they just want the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Marvel Retrospective. I'm the very excited Trust now.
I'm the Toad Boy, Dylan Moss.
The Daywalker, Jessica.
I'm the Do You Blush, Taylor Field.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've had a great Comic-Con weekend. Go back, we did a podcast every single day.
Boy, was it wild.
It was the greatest week we've ever had. Hunka Hunka was back. We did our second annual superhero draft, so maybe...
Fuck Hunka Hunka.
Maybe somebody got some points there. Hey, that's my brother, don't, I disagree with his views, but you can't say fuck him, like...
I can say what I want.
Shout out
to my podcast too.
Shout out to you, Michael. And then we did a bunch of coverage, so go check it out. I'm sure it was a fun weekend. Wink. But what we're here is a few months ago. When did Blade Retrospective come out? When did Luke Cage come out?
I think it was only a couple weeks.
Luke Cage was
It was in June 22nd. So it was for now. It's been at least about a month since we did Blade.
Hiatus.
So in honor of Comic-Con, we're jumping back in the Marvel Retrospective, and we are reviewing and taking a look back at Blade 2 coming out, or it came out in 2002. Dylan, let's start off with you, because I want to hear, we've been previewed to Dylan's thoughts. This is going to be spoilers. The movie is over 15 years old, so if you've not seen it, I don't know why you've clicked on this. Maybe you need to check your medication. If so, go talk to your doctor.
Yeah, so off the top of my head, if I'm going to compare this to any movie, I would actually compare this to a Netflix and Fail episode we did for, I believe it was called The Last Witch Hunter. What was it? That Vin Diesel movie. Was it called The Last Witch Hunter? And famously, that's kind of like my least favorite cast that we've ever recorded because I was just so bored.
Of course.
The movie was so bland and so boring that I just had nothing. I had no fuel as a podcaster. There was nothing in that movie that gave me anything to talk about. And I feel bad because that's how I feel about this movie. I just found it so dull. I didn't like any of the characters. I don't think there's any great moments. I think there's some alright action. Most of the CGI is kind of bad. There's some good moments. I guess there's some alright stories, but I didn't really care for any of the characters. So, I mean, nothing's abysmally bad that I can even hate on it with passion. I just feel so. Oh man, I wish I didn't watch that movie. Yeah, it just passed before my eyes and my life didn't change at all. So I'll try to say some interesting stuff, but I don't know. I'm gonna rely on you guys to talk about what makes this movie interesting and why it's worthy of going back to watch it.
I have questions for you, so I'll hard counter and say I loved this movie, actually. I think there's some bad stuff in this movie. It is very much like Blade 1, where it's a little dated. Yeah, the CGI isn't the greatest, but I just look at it in 2002, that probably
there were some really good moments.
There was
some, jumping around and stuff. It usually doesn't last long.
I felt lots of times when Blade was jumping off shit, it looked pretty good. If they shot him really quickly, so that was good. Yeah. There's a few problems in this movie we'll get to, but I thought this movie was tons of fun. The soundtrack is great. I listened to it all day at work today. Lots of cool, early rap, Mos Def and stuff like that. I thought action was really good. I liked the villain. I loved the world building. There's a particular scene which we'll talk about, but when they go in that club, it's phenomenal. The fucked up shit they're doing to one another just to get blood and playing with people's spines and organs, and they're just getting off on it. It's I don't want to go to that club, but there's part of me that does. But like this movie keeps the theme of the first one, where it's really gross. The entire movie is like super gross. But this one I felt was even more on the horror side of the vampires, like the hybrid vampires being scary, and there was a bit more horror-tastic where you see the OG vampires like running away from other vampires. And I think Wesley Snipes is phenomenal in this. I love the team dynamic. I like the dynamic they have the villains and that Blade working with vampires. He has to work with the people he's hunted. So I'm a sucker for any time good guys got to work with their enemies. So yeah, I really really enjoyed this movie. So and I always remembered liking Blade 2 more. It's been I think maybe 7 years since I've seen this, and this after I saw this, I was like, I need to watch this again more often. Not this month or anything, but like not so much space in between when I watch them. So far superior than Blade 1 and far superior than Blade Trinity, which will be next.
Question for you: did you find it, or did you have to rent it?
I watched a really terrible quality stream.
Good thing is Blade Trinity's on Netflix.
I know it is. After how great Blade 1 was, I didn't feel like paying money to watch Blade 2.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'll go next, I guess, while I'm already here.
Then she's leaving. She's saying this and she's gone.
First of all, 10 out of 10, Norman Reedus. Quality.
Scud.
As in stud, but scud.
He does not look studdy in this movie. He's so like greasy and so slimy.
He was 33 in this movie.
I was surprised because like, does anyone?
How old is he now?
He's 34.
In his late 40s, I think.
He was born in 69, so
good for him.
And is anyone like a Boondock Saints fan here?
Yeah.
I've seen them.
I was surprised this was
movies.
after this, because I guess Boondock Saints was like it's a good movie. It was a big bomb though back in the day, but I was surprised. So yeah, it was this minor role for Norman Reedus.
So yeah, this movie, there was definitely some scenes in it that I like watching this movie. It's like, oh shit, like I remember that from back in the day, like the dissection scene and things like that. I don't know if I would say this one is better than the first. I don't know that I'd say it's worse either. I think they're very much the same kind of level.
We have a surprise dog on the podcast.
Okay, we got the go ahead again. I don't know. I was kind of like Dylan. I ended up sitting on my phone because there was times I was just like, this is not entertaining. I'm gonna, do this and watch this in the background. And there was also some times where, these fighting scenes that you guys are talking about, you could tell, like there was one scene where they like animated the fight.
Oh yeah, the
And
pure
it's
CGI. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, like so cringy to just like you can see the terrible transition and then it transitioned back again. I was just like, oh, like you can at least use wires or something. This is so I don't know if I'd say it's better or worse, but it kind of seems about the same.
Fair enough.
It's definitely my favorite of the Blade movies, Blade 2. Ron Perlman. I always get a kick out of his movies. He's always like, he brings something to it. And
his movies, no matter what they are.
Oh yeah.
He's great in this movie.
The tension he has with Wesley Snipes.
Who is Ron Perlman?
The leader of the Blood Hounds or whatever the hell they're
the bald
called.
guy with the
black shades all
handlebar
the time.
mustache. Yeah, okay.
I think he's fantastic. I love how like when Blade is meeting the gang for the first time and just the tension between them and Blade's like, you want to do it or whatever.
quote.
I undersold that a little.
Verbatim right there.
Taylor's gonna one-man show Blade 2. So.
It's like they said different stuff, but just the way I took it,
they said different stuff, but it was
the way I took it was just, you want to fucking go, just fucking kill me, and then Ron Perlman's like, fuck off, I won't fucking kill you if I want. But that's how I took it, but they didn't say that. They said something similar, but just the tension, it was just great, and just like he dekes him out and slaps the bomb on his head, and just the whole his attitude throughout the whole movie is just like, fuck you, fuck this, we're gonna get fucked. Just like it's just
Taylor's favorite character. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Predator in a tree.
Fuck you, I'm in a tree. Fuck trees.
I think the general story of this vampire kind of, yes, he's the result of, hybrid kind of scientific experiments, but I think it just kind of adds more credit to the whole, story that they introduced in Blade 1, where it's just not really a curse, but more like a blood
virus,
and they were trying to make more guys kind of like Blade, but that totally backfired.
Kind of.
And
when you look like that, that's a backfire.
Yeah, I think it's completely terrifying, the whole fact that their mouth like actually opens up. I think it's really, really freaky. But I think it's cool that, you know, they don't really eat eat humans, they eat vampires. So, you know, it's definitely a different twist for vampires to be scared of something other than Blade, obviously.
More vampires. Even bigger vampires.
I think, I don't know, Blade is great. The downside, though, some of the fight scenes I do find were definitely lacking as opposed to the first movie.
Is this connection about, like, bigger things being scarier than the smaller things, is this, like, kind of a linkage between you and Jurassic World as well? Like, is that just your style of movie when they create a hybrid of bigger things to eat the smaller things?
And the new Predator movie coming out.
Natural selection.
Yeah,
Taylor's just a big fan of evolution. Love Darwin. Top 10 favorite characters of all time.
Well, you know, this day and age, like, when you have, like, back in the day...
It's a yes or no.
No, yeah, back in the day, you have, like, you have your dinosaur, you have your alien, your predator, you have your vampire. Back when we were kids, like, that shit is scary, and now we're in this day and age, like, yeah, we've all seen the dinosaur, the vampire, and the predator. So when they amp it up and, you know, create a threat to that threat, and that threat is like, really threatened by the threat, and I like the threat, so...
I mean, this was 15 years ago, so it wasn't really our day and age, but I get what you're going for.
Yeah. Well, I was a little kid when I saw this movie.
A little kid. I think it
But
shows...
I mean, is that really that interesting that they changed it from vampires who eat humans to vampires to eat vampires?
I think
it's
so,
really,
because you don't really see that kind of
it's a pretty, like, it's a pretty basic increase from the first.
But I think back in the day, Marvel was like, this hasn't been done yet.
Marvel wasn't like
Marvel.
Yeah, they sold this away. Yeah, no, they had nothing to do with it. They're just a producer. You just get the Marvel credit.
I mean, regardless of, like, just as a concept in general.
I think it's a classic film trope. Like, we already told Jurassic World, Predators doing that. Like, not even the new thing, though. It shows this was 2012, and that back then was just like, anytime you do a sequel, has to be the bigger, badder version of what you did before, right? So I see Taylor's points, but there isn't much movies where vampires do eat vampires, right? Like, when you think about, they're always after the humans, or like even Twilight, you know, like, I think it's a good jump, and I think it'd be different if they were just vampires. I like that they kind of make them, they're like hybrids, but they're pretty like distinct and creepy. And, they look like they are a different breed. Like, there's vampires, humans, and then them. So I think it's a good. And how else is Blade gonna have an excuse to team up with vampires, right?
Which is
to have
pretty
that
cool.
tension.
One thing I like...
It just adds that in.
So cool.
I think something that this other vampire movie with Sam Neill, Daybreakers, did, and they were running out of humans and blood, so the vampires were eating other vampires, and it fudged them up and made them kind of similar to these Reaper things, not with the face stuff, but they were definitely...
That was way after this movie, by the way.
Yes.
Copied it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Question for you, though,
Sure.
to move forward.
Sure.
So, how do you feel about Whistler totally disregarded his whole thing in the first movie? He's back for 2 years now.
Very little explanation, just like, where'd they find you? It's like, but why did they need
And
Whistler?
they turned him to a vampire and tortured him.
I feel like I think that's one of my big problems with this movie is I don't think there's any great moments, and I think that a lot of like things that they built up there maybe could have been cool little twists or plot points just kind of fizzles out. Like Whistler, for example, they start out and he's like, I'm looking for him, and then he finds him in like 5 minutes, and then they're just like working together again. Like, there was no story there. Like, I think it could have been more interesting, you know, if finding Whistler was like, you know, a plot point for maybe like halfway through this movie. Like, maybe that's something he's trying to do while he's doing other stuff. But instead,
or the vampires could have been like, if you help us, we'll give you Whistler back, you know?
Yeah, like there could have been a lot more interesting stuff there. Instead, he just like essentially just retcons what happened in the last movie. And that was like one of the better moments in the first movie. Like, it was out of that, it was one of the more like emotional segments, I guess you could say. So I just kind of feel like it undoes that story, which was interesting enough in the first movie.
Which I can kind of agree.
I mean, I like Whistler, and I'm glad that he's back, but I just think there could have been a little more finesse in how they in how they swindled him back into the story.
I agree, because in retrospective, Norman Reedus is actually pretty good in that role as like his just little buddy, you know. And like I like that he has the back and forth with Whistler, but if Whistler wasn't around, you could have easily had this younger up and coming apprentice. That's where I'll push back to you. I thought I have so many more great moments in this movie other than the first one. For me, the first one's like the bloodbath.
What are some of your great moments?
I think the opening like scene is really good. The motorcycle fight scene. There's some CG for the first time there, so it's like new because they didn't do CG in the first one. But I really like that. Like I said, I love the club scene. I'm not sure why.
Well, I think my highest claim for this movie is the fight scenes, even though the CGI for some of them is super wacky. But for the most part, I really
it's
like
2012. Like
I don't know.
At that point, that was like, wow, this is good. You know.
I don't know. I don't really care about that a whole lot. I think for me, like because parts of it were really good. Like when like what you mentioned when Blade's jumping around and when the other the Reaper is like the son and the when that fight scene at the movie, they're like jumping around and that actually it looks fine. It looks good. And then even the scene when the other vampire crew that's hunting Blade at first, or I guess just to find and team up with him, like they have those like cool masks and stuff.
Are so cool.
They were super cool, and like that fight scene was pretty interesting. There's some moments where the CGI is just a bit too much. I'm like, hey, but there is good moments. I don't think any of the fight scenes are flawless. Like I think most of them suffer from like some really off-putting scenes, and all that disintegration like
that's
CGI is quite bad. But I think the fight scenes for the most part kept me intrigued, and like the choreography of it, like I think it was like one of the earlier fight scenes where Blade does like a quick triple hit, and then like waits a second, and then he's like another quick triple hit, and I don't know, it's that stuff was like pretty fun.
In the ninja one, he has like a one-arm sword fight, and he's doing that and everything. The only reason why I bring up the CGI is because like with video games, we never do that. We never go like, oh, this game looks like shit. You know, like we go, oh, well, this is the way Super Mario Bros. Looked, right? At that point, so I was like, that's where it was. So for me, it's like this. It's like the same way in like the original Batman. Yeah, it looks kind of goofy with him in this rubber suit, but it's like, oh, because this is like as close as we were gonna get. So for me, the CG, like even like other than I think Lord of the Rings, most CG in the 2000s looked kind of off, right? Like that's why Gollum was so huge because everyone was like, Gollum looks real, but like we did Spider-Man 3 not too long ago, and remember those scenes with Toby and New? You watched it today. Toby and New Gollum CG. It looks like a video game. So to me, it's like I can kind of go. I can put it aside because I'm like, okay, it's kind of a heightened world. Especially, I think the only one that suffers is when it's Blade. I think when it's the ninjas and stuff and vampires, it's fine because they're glossy and they're dark. But when it's anytime you do human skin, that's when it looks a little bit off. Like Toby looks really bad in those Spider-Man 3 ones. Yeah, so that's. But I really like the fight scene.
That doesn't really like take it down for me because I still like the fight scenes more than like the story or the characters.
Yeah, and I would think all those fight scenes. I love the final fight, and I love the well scene, like just that whole start to finish, or I guess the sewers when they're hunting them, and like when they have the other guy who turns into the Reaper, and then you have Blade when like, oh sorry, the bomb. Like there's all these little nuances going on. They like back Whistler into a corner and like try to kill him. Like I think that whole segment is really really good. Like to me that really stands out. And I love the club scene. I love when they go in and they're like picking people's spines apart, or they're just like, it's really gross, but they're just like the one moment these couple put these wrist blades in each other's mouth and start making out, and you're like, oh fuck, like that's so gross, but I get why they're doing it. But like that's what I loved, is like that to me felt like that the bloodbath scene in the beginning, where this was more world building of like, oh cool, these clubs exist where these guys just go and mutilate people or each other, and I really like that. So for me, all those moments, I'll give you Whistler because they just wanted him back, and like, how can we do it? He's just back, you know. It's like,
the other like fairly anticlimactic for me is when like Scud, you know, it's like, oh, I'm actually been working for the bad guys the whole time, and then he dies in like 10 seconds.
Because Blade knew it the whole time.
Yeah, that was really lame.
What I didn't get about that is if he knew, like, why didn't he just actually blow it up on the back of the guy's head?
I guess he just wanted to fuck with Scrub. he just took it that personal with Scud that like he just had. I thought about that too, because Ron Perlman's character is definitely the bigger threat in this situation, but I think he just wanted to F with him. But even then, it's like, I feel like if you knew, I guess, I don't know, maybe they could have made it feel like Blade was kind of on to him, but he didn't know for sure. But the way Blade said that line and said he knew the whole time. So it's like, maybe you should have killed him sooner, and you not because he could have been doing other side stuff that you didn't know about. But yeah, I agree. I like the reveal, but I forgot how quickly he goes away. Like literally 2 minutes later, he gets blown up, and it's like it's fun, but like it served no purpose because it doesn't change anything really. Because those vampires still could have captured Blade after they disintegrate all the Reapers, right? Yeah. So I guess it was just a way of like, hey, we don't want Scud coming back for Blade Trinity, so
pretty much.
I'm gonna do a huge shout out to Donnie Yen. He's actually behind the choreographic fight stuff and choreographing the fight stuff. And I can't remember his in-movie name. It was, what was it?
Snowman.
Snowman, yes.
Can you preference to them and other people who Donnie Yen is while you're
Donnie Yen is the blind guy from Rogue One.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is one with me. The blonde, yeah.
Great character.
Yeah.
Fun fact, for those who didn't know, he was actually a mute vampire in this movie.
Did he not say a single line?
Yeah.
Really?
I was reading about his character
because he
afterwards.
couldn't, or because he didn't want to.
Well, apparently, when you go on the synopsis or whatever, he's actually listed as being like a mute vampire or whatever.
What's with him and not having one of his senses?
I'm okay with it. You know, it's totally cool. He
great
at his acting.
He's
really dedicated to the role.
The only thing that I hate is just how he went out by his own. What was his teammate's name? The guy who was infected and kept his
he
secret.
went out like a bitch.
Yeah, fuck.
Have you ever watched the third Triple X? He's the villain on that. You should watch it.
I haven't watched the Triple X movie.
Is
that the Vin Diesel stuff?
You've not seen a single one.
I haven't either.
Oh. Do you like Ice Cube as an actor?
We've had this conversation.
You and I have not me and Taylor though.
He wasn't there?
No, it was just
I remember
he
we were
was
at the
there, but
beach,
he's probably just like
hanging out.
Is he the guy from Are We There Yet?
Yeah.
You know that movie, Dylan?
That's just funny. That's how you find out who Ice Cube is.
Not from like NWA or anything like
or
that.
Or like 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, or Straight Outta Compton.
21 Jump Street. I didn't see Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. That's a porn version. Do you like him though? Just a quick sidebar. Just please me first.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, watch them. He takes over the second one. The second one's not good.
Retro coming to you.
But if you like, I'm so down. But if you like Ice Cube, it goes Vin to Ice Cube. Willem Dafoe's the villain, so that kind of helps. And then third one.
Where's Vin?
Vin, he was at a point in his life, if you believe this, he didn't believe he wanted to do sequels. And now he look at Fast
What a Will Smith
thing. He was like, I don't do sequels. And yeah, so maybe one day we'll retro.
But he's in the third one though, right?
Oh yeah,
that's on Netflix.
Well, you don't need to. No, the first one's great. Watch it. Oh. Where do we want to go? Well, as far as greats. Yeah, so those were the great moments for me. Jessica, what were anything that was great for you that you really liked? Because I guess we're talking about pros. Because I imagine. Well, Dylan, you say you're not negative, but I feel like there's some shit you're gonna throw out a little bit.
We'll see.
So I already mentioned the one scene there where they're dissecting him and they're...
Like the autopsy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another great moment. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like...
That was probably the best moment in the movie for me.
Wow.
I mean, she drops the blood in and it all starts shaking again. It's like, oh, brain's dead, but the body's still...
That was good, I don't know, effects for that. I don't know what you call
That's
it.
classic Guillermo del Toro right there. The guy who directed Shape of Water. And I almost thought that this is where he must have met...
Thank you.
He must have met Norman Reedus when they almost did that Silent Hills game together. Them and Kojima.
No, they never talked.
What? Wow, the director doesn't talk once.
No, he doesn't. That's his style. He doesn't talk to his actors.
Wow. Continue, Jessica. I didn't know that.
I also enjoyed the scene where they find the guy that's trapped and he's starting to chew off his own arm. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. It just shows how really it's just pure instinct there. You know,
it's like that James Franco movie.
Nope, that's not how that 127 hours did not go that way.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of what James Franco movie.
The one where he bites out his arm.
Disaster Artist. I don't remember that scene. Really, those are kind of the two main scenes for me that I found were interesting. There's a couple of good ones in the sewer, though, like you said. Some of them were still pretty bad, but there was definitely some cool moments. I don't know, really. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's true.
What was your thoughts on the villains? I guess the main one. How do you even say it?
Kodak or Norak?
I looked at it on IMDb. It's
Novak.
Is Is it Nomak?
It's Novak, isn't it?
Is it Nomak?
Nomak is the son, isn't it?
Novak.
Yeah, he was the main hybrid guy, right?
Oh, is he?
The Daskamisk or whatever.
Oh, Damascus.
Is there any hybrids in the third movie?
Yeah, that looks like
I can't spoil, really. I mean,
oh boy.
I'm just asking for the meme.
I think it's Nomak. I'm gonna click on a picture.
Nomak? It's gotta be Novak.
It's Nomak.
Fuck.
Yeah, that is him. So Nomak is the villain, and then that whatever.
Damonskis.
The Damonskis or whatever. His dad is actually Stryker or
from Mario.
Baron von Strucker.
From Mario?
From Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Really?
So he was in an Avengers movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who isn't? Who hasn't?
Marvel
been?
likes
Jim Carrey.
Disney likes to recast their actors. So.
That's true. Wesley Snipes coming to a theater near you. What do you think about Nomak?
Honestly, I just watched this movie like an hour ago, and I don't even know really what he did in this movie.
Remember, he was gonna donate blood, and he wasn't really a good
in the
donor.
very beginning. Good news and bad news. Good news for us. Bad news
Great line.
for you.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that. What else did he do?
Kept infecting other people, and he was just honestly just chasing after Blade and his crew the whole time, and that was
Just
about
chasing
it.
peeps.
He didn't have a big goal. He was just I guess more the goal.
None of the villains really had any personality for me. They all just kind of meld into one like boring soup.
He actually wasn't doing much because actually most of the movie was them going after Nomak. Really, if you think about it, like he wasn't on the pursuit. It was like they went to the club, they went to the sewers. Yeah, because they just wanted to extinct these new hybrids.
They needed to kill the head because he was the one that
With the virus.
wasn't
spread it.
dying.
Yeah.
Weren't the other ones able to spread it too?
Yeah, but I guess he's like the point of origin, I guess,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, but they
He
keep
knows the blend.
eating themselves afterwards, but because he was the host, he didn't. That's what it was.
That's helpful because they had to feed like every 2 hours or something.
Yeah. I will throw out that one scene though too, where they like cut off the guy's head and then his eyes just sitting there, and it just
That was some bad CG.
it's so bad. The one scene too where whatever that guy that you like, I think it was, and he gets like cut in half, and you just like see his spine and his entire like inside.
Oh, that was cool. And then he puts on the
Reinhardt.
shades.
Oh yeah.
That scene, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because then Whistler throws him, and just like the end of the other movie, catches him. Blade's always great at
Yeah.
catching his shades, and yeah, that was great.
Always great at catching his shades, if anything.
Not throwing shade.
I thought, I guess with the villain, the quick aside that I thought that Whistler and Blade didn't have as much fun back and forth as they did in the first movie.
I thought Blade was really boring, like as a character.
I won't go that far. I thought he was much
very
more
disappointed.
entertaining.
In the first movie, like the majority of his scenes, he's just like his presence on screen, like he's entertaining or he's funny or he's badass or something. But I did not really get that vibe in this movie, other than the fight scenes and that. I really like that chop into shade combo, but other than that, like I don't really have any memorable Blade moments. And he's your star, and he's really fun.
What Taylor brought up, that scene in the wrong promo is great when he like has the little steak and he's bugging him and he slaps him and he slaps him again. And I like when he's like, "Oh, you guys have been training your whole entire life to take me down, and here I am." And he's like, "Oh, so exciting!" Like I thought he was just as good as the first one. I think he has
I
less.
just don't like the character as much as
That's
like,
fair enough.
generally. I don't know, because even in we were talking about the first movie, like. I don't know, I feel like even the heights of the character doesn't reach the same for me. I'm not sure why.
He's just a vampire hunter. Like, he's pretty basic, right? I don't know. I'm very excited when they do redo Blade to see who they get, because I think lots of the stuff that makes Blade good is Wesley Snipes, because I don't even think you're that big of a Blade fan in the animated series, correct? When we've been watching that.
I like that Blade more than this Blade.
Okay,
sure.
fair enough.
Yeah. And that's just like an animated show that's 20 minutes long, so.
Fair enough. And for me, Nomak, I liked him. I think he was a good foil. I think he's up there with the first villain. They're kind of tight because the first villain has better motives as far as a plan. And I thought he was good. There's a few times where he's a little cheesy. But this guy, Nomak, was scary, and I liked the actual effects of him, and I liked the fight scenes they all had, and I liked the little twist of, he's the guy's son, and he's just really just trying to, he didn't want to be experimented on, and it all went awry. So it makes sense, and I don't know why he had to kill his sister. That didn't make... I was kind of... I don't know. It was just for dramatic effect. So, I liked him as just an imposing force. I think the better villains for me were the other vampires that were fucking with Blade. Not that they were better as far as having a plot story, but just the fact of I like them as the antagonist more. Blade having to deal with these assholes and like then with the lights and everything like that, and the whole little back and forth. Like I said, I liked when they cornered Whistler and were gonna kill him, and you know, I like that scene when Ron Perlman has the gun on Blade in the club, and then he looks down and Blade has the gun also on him under his arm. So I really liked all their back and forth. So I really liked the dynamic. And yeah, the like dad, old vampire, he was just fucking lame. He was just like underworld villain number 5, you know. Like, so yeah, I thought the villains were all right. I guess I would probably say that. I always forget his name in the first one.
Frost?
Yeah, Frost. I thought he was better, but I still like these guys. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more kind of spread out between various characters.
Yeah. And even Nomak, he's like a villain, but really it's like, oh, at the end it's revealed that, like, it's because they were fucking with him, right? So it's almost like a, you know, Ghost Ant-Man sort of deal where it's like,
Ghost
oh,
Ant-Man.
yeah, they have a reason, you know, so.
They have a reason.
Yeah,
Thanos has a reason, too.
I guess, but like a real reason, you know, like Thanos, you know, it is a real reason, but hey, that's up to you. If you think his ways are right, then.
Well, I need to snap more resources into existence. That's what I've seen people say online. It's cool.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
there wouldn't be a movie.
Fun fact: the snap did affect all animals. They confirmed that.
Kevin Feige did this week, yeah.
Animals.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that would be relevant if you're on Patreon, because you would have got this a week early.
So
Anyway.
Nomak, you know, he.
Hashtag transitions. We're great. We're great at this podcasting. We practice a lot.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Like he was justified. I mean, you could even like in a weird.
You guys aren't selling me on this being a great movie. I have to say, not doing a great job.
I think the moments I did pretty well on. I listed. You said what moments? I listed like 6 different moments.
I didn't speak to him, though.
You did alright. Anyway, go on.
I think Nomak is very much like if you look at this like in a sideways perspective, you could see him as being the hero because he's been betrayed by the vampires and he has no one he can connect with except that homeless guy outside the blood donor clinic.
Well, that's not what you want.
No.
I can see him.
outside the.
I can see him not being the antagonist, but I don't know if I can see him being the hero because he's still taking innocent people down in his journey, right? He could have.
Yeah, Batman does that.
Well, he's killing.
Ew.
Zack Snyder's Batman does that, you know. But the thing is, like at the end when he finds his dad's base and everything like that, he just charges in by himself. He never needed any of those other Reapers.
But
to, like,
he
hit
hates the vampires, though. I mean, I'm assuming that cop in the blood room was a human because he was firing a regular gun. But he killed and ate the other 2 vampires. You know, he just threw the cop against the wall. He didn't actually really kill him. Maybe he was going to be in a wheelchair, but you know, he's not dead.
Fair enough. I'd have to look it up.
But I feel like Nomak is just, he just, like, it's like you said, he didn't want to be experimented on. He just wanted to know, like, his worth in the world, at least how I kind of felt. Like, he wanted to know, it sucks, you know, what he did with his family, but I feel like he just wanted to have a family. You know, it's,
Can you blame him?
no, I mean, he's pretty fucked up, but he was definitely scary. His whole face thing going on, that was the first time I've ever kind of experienced that kind of vampirism kind of thing back in the day, like
Back in the day. Okay.
yeah, not now, no. But just the whole jaw opening up and the weird tentacle coming out is just like this is just
Pretty
weird.
nasty.
You know, if they want to make a blade, you know, just bite all the pregnant women, and then you'll have an army of blades. You know.
They didn't know that though, right? I don't. They never ever say how like if that's known knowledge or whatnot.
Well,
Like
the
Whistler
mom was
knows
in the
that.
last one. You would
But she's
think.
dead now, so maybe. And I think Frost kept her pretty hidden, right? Because when she comes out, it's a big reveal. So I think she was, for years, just kind of hanging on that pit with that guy. You know?
But it's just, it seems like such an easy solution, but the vampires are always testing in the...
But like I said, if they don't know that, if this clan of vampires doesn't know that, they don't know, like, hey, let's go around and start fighting pregnant chicks, right?
I feel like that's the first thing you try though if you're trying to make
Yeah.
an army.
Generally, when I'm making a list, that's up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be. I really don't. If I'm a vampire and you go, okay, there's a guy who can't, like, he won't burn in the sunlight, I would actually think it would because of some scientific experiment. You know, like, I would think that first and then maybe.
But then you would wonder, okay, who did the experiment?
Yeah, but They don't.
Whose boat was it? The classic chicken and the egg.
But like, you know, people, there things like S.H.I.E.L.D., there's stuff that work in secret organizations, you know, there's some secret organization out there.
Yeah, but vampires are at the top of secret organizations. They're vampires.
Yeah, well, maybe this time they weren't.
They have all their familiars out there doing their dirty work and stuff.
This time they weren't, though, because they still don't know how Blade was made, right? So
I feel like, you know, it's just something that they would be aware of. You have these age-old vampire dudes that are just rocking out to the...
See, but they can't be aware of it then, because then, yeah, why don't they just go buy a pregnant chick?
Because
in my
that
world,
was
it's a
some
secret in it.
hungry vampire dude that just went out on a floozy and bit this pregnant chick.
Floozy.
And it
He
just,
went out on a floozy?
so it,
Another Taylor word.
So you're saying
Not
that
what it means.
you're saying
I
that
like that.
it doesn't work every time. It just happened to work this one time.
No, I think it would probably work every time. And I think it would have to be that right moment, you know, like a half an hour before she's going to give birth or something like
Like
that.
third trimester, you know, late
You
evening.
just gotta wait in the hospital till you hear a woman go into labor, and then just go
It's a
hang
good
out in her
spot to be.
room.
Yeah.
Just pose as a
Centimeters
doctor.
dilated,
Yeah.
all that, you know.
But I don't know, I just feel like it's something that they would have researched. They just... But that being said, it makes sense too. They look at it as, you know, we're always just going to be experimenting because in this universe, vampirism is a virus. It's not a curse, so it's
True.
not affected by, you know, crosses or holy water or that sort of stuff.
No, garlic though.
That one
Silver
serum
swords.
though.
This
There's always a counter serum.
Oh yeah,
Always.
always.
No matter
Counter-
what.
counters.
Yeah.
I did like at the beginning of the movie that if you'd not seen Blade 1, Blade just gives you like a quick narration of like what happened to him from the first one. I like
Read
that.
everything you know.
Yeah, I like that because it was an easy way to get in there and it was a good way to show that like it's not going to be tied to the first one at all, right? Like you're not dealing with that cult, you're not dealing with any characters, so I like that. Obviously it started off with Wizards, but I like the narration of that and that was very
It's a
pictorial move.
2 years jump from the first one to this one.
In the story, yeah, in the real world, it was 5 years. Wait, actually, no, when the first Blade came out? 98, right? I think?
Sure.
Sure.
Sounds about right.
99.
99, so okay, so it's
I
3
didn't
years.
actually look that up. I just
That's good.
I think it's 1998, but, where do we want to go next with this bad boy?
I just want to
It was
throw in
98.
98. Wesley Snipes was extremely well
Wesley.
built in this movie.
He always is. He,
Like,
like
when
has
his
some...
jacket comes off and, like, you know shit's going down when he's not got sleeves on.
Oh, yeah.
He just is like...
just full jack.
Just, yeah. The listeners are probably like, what the fuck does that mean?
They'll know. They've seen Blade 2. They'll know what...
They've heard Taylor drunk before. They know.
I was going to say, when we finish the movies, we're going to do the Blade TV series. There's a 12-episode Spike TV series.
Busy that day.
Spike. Is this live action?
But it's live action, yeah.
I love Spike stuff. We
Have
should
you
do it.
have you ever seen this with Sticky Fingers as Blade? I'm
Sticky
Sticky fingers.
Sticky
He was a
Fingers.
singer back in the day. You've never seen this show, the live action Blade? It's
No.
actually not bad. And it's a continuation of the series. It takes place after Blade Trinity, so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not Wesley Snipes.
Well, no, he ain't doing a fucking TV show now.
Does
Come
it
on.
have Ryan Reynolds in it?
No.
Then I'm not available that day.
Hannibal King
Just
is not.
Ryan Reynolds of all people.
He's in the next movie,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah, he's in.
Oh,
Trinity.
great. That's the movie he's in. I forgot.
Hannibal King.
He's like, he...
Do you think... yeah.
Wait, what movie is he Deadpool in?
This one?
Well...
Is it Trinity? Is that what you're talking about?
No, he's plays Hannibal King, a made-up character who's just Deadpool light, and everyone's like, he should play Deadpool. And then it was
Oh.
X-Men Origins when he played Deadpool for like 5 minutes, and then
Oh,
also
okay.
Deadpool happened. So you'll see in Hannibal or in Trinity, Blade Trinity, it's just Deadpool. It's just not Deadpool. They just had no idea what to do.
Deadpool without the copyright
That-
infringement.
Yeah, I think that movie for you'll probably enjoy it more because it's one of those, for me at least, that is overly bad, and people consider
Nice.
it one of
I
the.
love those.
People
I've
consider
been craving that. We haven't done Netflix in a fail. Netflix in a fail. Netflix
and fail.
That's gotta
in a
happen.
while.
I'm hosting.
Yeah, we're trying to find a date.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Well, I'm there, I guess.
And then what
What's
was
the
it?
movie?
What was I gonna
Keeper
say?
Creepers 3.
Oh, this has already been decided. What about
Oh,
that
yeah.
Adam Sandler movie?
Which one?
Everyone's seen it already, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it probably was bad.
The
Yeah.
wedding one. It was alright.
Yeah, that one wasn't
But with
bad.
Chris Rock?
Raccoons.
Okay, there was no raccoon scene in it.
So I guess the other thing I found anticlimactic in this movie is the ending when the female character isn't feeling so great, and then it like
I'm not feeling so
goes
good.
into the
Blake.
sunset, and then I don't know. It it just kind of ended. I guess there was like a one scene after that, but I
Don't
don't know.
you think
I
that's
didn't really
a very
care at that point.
peaceful kind of thing though? I mean, she was obviously infected and she wanted to just
Yeah, but I
go out with a
didn't care about her at
Fair
all.
enough.
The movie
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
give me any reason to like even really see a connection between them necessarily.
So did you care in Blade 1? Did you care more about Blade's female companion in that movie than this?
Fuck that character.
Oh,
That's one of the worst characters. of all
Yeah,
time.
but I think the thing is, okay, because also remember she wasn't a great actress.
I forgot that she existed until you said that.
She wasn't a great actress, but I do think there was a bit more of a built-in relationship there. They were working together the whole movie, and as far as just one-on-one and he saved her, everything like this, where they're just put together, and I feel like the way they try to force chemistry is they just have them have a few long glares at each other, and that's about it. Like,
Sometimes that's all you need though.
yeah, but not in this movie. They needed a bit more. Like, I think they should have made her more sympathetic, or made her. There's a few times where she's like, "Oh, but he saved us," but it was very minor. Like, they should have had a few scenes where maybe she was sticking up for Blade in front of all her other cohorts and everything like that. Because I like the Black Panther ending for Blade too, but it's like we don't have the. Like, you look at what happens with Killmonger when he just wants to see in Sunset Wakanda. This is a big deal. This doesn't matter because it's just she's gonna die. So why not go see the sun? So.
Why not go see the sun?
Yeah, I think that's a negative for me. Is I like that they didn't try to force like a love connection, like really, like they didn't kiss or anything like that. So that was good, but it was still pretty weak.
She fed off him though. I mean, that's like a.
Yeah, that's as lovely as it
Pretty
gets,
romantic.
really.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like Blade needs a little bit of romance in this franchise.
He hasn't really got it though.
He hasn't got it. I feel like this
He's
was
trying.
the golden opportunity for him to get it.
I don't know. I don't know if he
do you
dates a
mean by
vampire or not.
What do you think I mean by it?
I don't care. What do you?
I feel like, as opposed to the first girl who was just human, doing
looked
her
like
own
his mother.
thing, looked like his mother, which is weird. But I think Blade,
Some dudes are into that.
yeah, apparently. In this movie, I think, he's got... What?
Keep going.
He's got a situation stacked for him where he's got this old school, royal vampire lady related to this lord dude.
Oh, so he should marry for the money? Is what
No,
you're saying.
he doesn't have the father's consent, which is it's fine because he's.
Well, it's
evil.
never a conversation.
Not everyone does that though. That's not like a thing in
That's
2018.
Well,
It's 2002 though.
2002.
Yeah,
Blade, like, oh, I gotta talk to your dad.
I mean, times.
You go elope to Russia in a post-credit scene or something like that. But I
Right.
think I don't know. I just feel like out of all these characters, that would have been a really good opportunity to build off of because her character as a vampire, like she.
I'll
wasn't-
agree that of all the characters, that would be the best one.
Yeah, you're doing
I don't know if
50%.
I don't know if the Scud love story would work so well.
I think they could do him and Whistler pretty easily.
Yeah.
You just said some people are into dating people like their mom. Blake could be into dating people like their dad.
Like
He's a
their
father
uncle.
figure. Yeah. The thing is, do you think he would date a vampire though if he's so busy hunting them?
I think so because she, out of vampires, I don't know. She's seen one that was very level-headed. She
Well,
wasn't like
She could be,
succumb to the thirst.
but we don't know that because they're so busy trying to get them right. Like what? So after they get rid of the Reapers and they're back in regular life,
As
is she
soon-
just going back to hunting people now?
It's like
though?
one
I
of those
don't think
situations where
so.
he knows he shouldn't, but he still does it.
Yeah, like I
anyway.
think
It's,
he may sleep with
dangerous.
her, but I don't think he's gonna wife her up.
I think it just indications happen as soon as he was introduced to the pack, the blood pack, and he was being a cocky son of a bitch to Ron Perlman, and everyone pulled their guns
Deserves
out,
it.
and she's like, put the guns down because.
But I don't. I think that can be shown she's a good leader of her group. I don't know if that shows that that's like why he should be with her. Like.
I don't know,
Why does that signify this is the
the
one
whole-
for Blade?
Because I never got a feeling that she was going to be a threat to him. I just felt like she was more compassion and emotion over everything else that vampires usually have. And on top of that, I felt like she was someone that was more... She felt more human in the body of a vampire than a vampire.
I feel
the
like
body of a human. Were you gonna say that? Hang on. One last counter though is she could not be a threat to Blade, but Blade's not about that. Blade's taking out people that are a threat to other people, like the innocent people and humans. Like we don't know what she's doing on the side.
I
before
feel
this
like
movie.
if Whistler's like, here's one of the sucky things for your thirst, I feel like she'd go
Ooh,
for it.
Get away from me, Whistler! Your handler just tried to offer me one of
I
those
don't know,
sucky
man.
things.
I feel like I feel like your reasons there were just because why not? Instead of
YOLO,
like, here's the
Blade.
actual good reasons. It's just like, well, why not marry her? She's cool.
She's a queen. She has all this money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm seeing the connection there, but you know.
You don't sound that passionate about it either, so it's okay.
Well, I have another thing I want to bring up that I kind of have an issue with.
This is the place to do it.
Blade 2 retro.
We're
So
never-
only
we're
doing
never-
it once. I'm not watching this movie ever again.
We're never
so.
ever doing another Blade 2 retro.
So
If we reach 1 million Patrons, we'll do a Blade 2 commentary track.
Easily.
Yeah.
Greg,
So-
look at that. You made us raise the bar too
Yeah,
high.
we got a 900.
So
yeah.
Ron
Just gotta get in a
Perlman.
million friends real quick.
Ron Perlman is like, Blade's like, where's the bomb? And Ron Perlman's like, oh, it's back up the tunnel. And Blade's like, okay, you guys go. And then Blade runs off. He finds the bomb, and then Ron Perlman's like, oh, I should have told you it wasn't
The
doing
handle's
shit.
jammed.
Then he says after, the handle's jammed. And so Blade spends 30 seconds findling it,
What?
findling it, fingering whatever,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
handling. Sorry, kids. He's handling.
These are my sucker things.
He's handling the bomb, and it's not working as he's killing the Reapers. Then my issue was he stands up and he just like soccer kicks it, and then it works.
I think the idea
It's like
was...
that, you know, when your computer's not working, you just give it a nice light slam and it's good to go.
I hit my 64 all the time. I think the idea was that the handle was actually legitimately stuck and he kicked the handle to work. I think that's what they were going for.
So Ron Perlman didn't shimmy it.
Shimmy.
No, I guess it just gave up, or he's not strong enough, so he's like, fucking, I'll let
Not
Blade
strong
die.
enough.
My problem with the sewer scenes, the only problem I have is, I feel like in the movie it went back and forth of how powerful guns were towards them, because there's many times where they're just shooting them and they kind of just like move a little bit and that's it. But then when they did the Avengers back-to-back moment in the middle of the sewer, they were shooting them all over and they were dropping down. Like, they weren't killing them, so maybe they just got bigger bullets, but that really wasn't established as far as...
Because when they were in the club and that like the shit went downside, like
it did nothing.
it did nothing.
But in the sewers, it took a lot of them out. So they jumped the logic a few times there. So
This happens.
I did like that woman sacrificed herself and her virus boyfriend. That was good. She was
Yeah.
just like, I'm not going to go this way and just suicide, take him with her. Like, I like that, you know?
Sure.
Lighthammer
Sure.
side of thing.
Okay.
Think so.
Did you like
Light
those?
hammer.
Did you like that couple, Dylan?
No, I don't know. I don't remember it,
I
to be
know.
honest.
I'm
She
just
had
saying.
like colorful hair. And
She was
he
Black Widow.
Big and had face tattoo.
She was Black Widow. She had the same haircut that she's at one point. It was red hair and,
And
Black
she's
Widow.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I like at one point that when they're all just sitting waiting to go on the sewer mission, no one else, well, not no one else, no one knows this guy's bite. Obviously, he puts the leather over it, but there's just like massive goo down her shoulder, and like they should have put a little for dramatic effect, but there was just a lot. But no one noticed it. There's just the back wounds. So
The back one.
he was jacked though, so good for him.
Face tattoos though wasn't gonna drop.
No, not big of the face tattoos. It's not something you want to go for in your
no
life.
bloodsucker or something.
Just sucker,
Just sucker.
whistler sucker.
I have one question for you guys. That final scene, like, who is that guy? Did I just?
Rush.
I completely missed who he is.
He
I
was
guess.
after him in the beginning of the movie. The guy with the so at the very beginning of the movie, in the motorcycle chase, that's who he was rooted after until Blake got interrupted. Like the guy with the gross jacket with like the red pink sleeves and everything like that, and he was like balding, like the guy you're talking about at the very end when he kills him in like the strip club, and he's like laying in all his wrist blades and tens and everything, which is super fucked up. Yeah, he's at the beginning of the movie. He's trying to catch him, he gets away, and he's also in the club scene. Blade is in the club, he's walking around, and then in the background you can see that same character. He sees Blade, like, and he turns around and he moves really quickly away.
Wasn't it? Because I don't know if I'm thinking of the same guy, where he's just like, if you help me or whatever, I'll let you live or whatever it is. I'll leave you as a loose end. Is it that guy?
At the very beginning, does he say that to him?
And then, yeah, he takes him into the hideout and he's using him as a shield, and the guy's just like, these aren't silver, but they hurt.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was him.
And then at the end, he just goes back and kills. He's like, think I forgot about you, and
I won't
shoots
forget
him.
about you. That was such good line delivery.
Yeah, they're going to London in the next movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers, man.
No,
I like that. And yeah, again, a big shout out, opening credits and the ending scene. I love the soundtrack in this movie. Great soundtrack. So
It was a little like the balance of it was a little loud at some points, kind of annoying.
yeah, a little Nolan-esque.
I didn't love it, but didn't hate it.
I'm gonna piggyback on that end credit
Piggyback
scene.
it.
I think it just totally fits with Blade's character. just how this guy, a creepy vampire, would go in there for a good
time.
Just lights go on and Blade just standing there.
Think you're gonna see someone else behind that curtain? No, it's Blade.
I liked that scene. I just didn't know who the guy was, and I was just a little bit confused, really. Yeah. That's all my notes. That depletes my notes.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done too. Blade at one point does a suplex in the movie. I'm pretty happy about that. That's a wrestling move where you.
Is that what you did to me?
No, I wouldn't do that to you. We're not professional enough to pull that off without me hurting you. But yeah, because the suplex is where you put the guy's head in your like armpit, then you put his arm over that, and then you pick him up and you slam. So that was very random in the movie, but it happens. And then at one point, Scud, when the very first time you meet him in Blade, he says, "The Dark Knight Returns," which is maybe the most popular Batman comic book of all time. So I thought that was a great little shout out. And then yeah, that was all the notes I have for Blade 2. No colon.
No colon?
Well, usually, Iron Man. Well, I guess no, Captain America, Winter Soldier, stuff. Iron Man's the only one that has numbers in the MCU. Why have I just thought of that now?
Really?
Thor, Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, Captain America, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, there's no other movies with 1 or 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's because Iron Man 2 came out, they didn't have their hand in, really.
No, they didn't. They're just, we're calling it 2. They didn't know they were going to make 18 more movies, so
that's true.
We gotta stop numbering these. So yeah, no, that's all the notes I have for this movie. I think we covered it pretty.
It wasn't very thorough, but there wasn't really.
I think very much like the first movie. Again, the plot's pretty basic. Like it's a world-ending thing, but not like a world like there's a bomb or there's a big threat. It's like, hey, this could spread and we gotta stop it. It's not like you have 10 minutes or we're done. Like I prefer these issues. So again, they're all. I think Trinity's pretty small. They're all pretty small and gross locations.
Trinity is.
I have not seen it. I think when I watched them all together like 7 years ago, I skipped Trinity. For me, it's pretty bad. So I can't remember if it is like a big world ending thing.
I would say it's 100% world ending.
Okay, then I totally forgot.
100%.
Okay, then we'll talk about that when we get there because then. Well, I guess the third one you got to go all out, right? So the same guy that directed that wrote The Dark Knight. So
So you know what's good.
This happens.
Yeah.
There was one scene. I don't know, maybe it was just a shitty quality stream I had, but there was like one of the
Reapers?
The Reapers, yeah. And he's like
the monkeys.
Yeah, well like he was doing this like weird thing and it looked like he was wearing like a skin suit, like it was like super bunchy and awkward and it was just watching it was quality. And then there was another scene where they all it was in the sewer and there was like 4 of them and they just rushed and all I could think of was guys in green suits playing raptors and I was just like, man, like what a fun job it would be. Just wear green suits and be a raptor.
There's still time, Jessica.
I always need these people.
Holy shit, this movie was 1880. Wow, that makes sense. Or sorry, Blade 1 was. Wow.
It's also like over 2 hours or something.
It was. I'll give you that. I was surprised because I was enjoyed it the whole time, but I remember at one point I paused it. I had to go wash and I was like, "Fuck, there's still an hour and 15 left." Like they do a lot in this movie. I think for me the only part that I would say is a negative as far as chunk because I liked all of it and I thought I'm different. I thought the pacing was good. You have Blade on Adventure. He gets Whistler. He meets this team. The enemies there. They do the sewer stuff. There's these big build-ups. The only part for me that slogged is when they go into like the old vampires like chamber and like they're like this is the labs and this all stuff like that and like the Scud stuff like that 20 to 25 maybe half an hour could have been shortened a bit. That's the only time where it slowed down for me. I was like, okay, I don't care. They could have just really taken this out and left it to like them the Reapers because they kind of like hint at that Nomak is like, oh, he's not that bad because it's not his fault he's this way, but he still just acts like super villainy, right? Like he doesn't change at all. There's no big him and Blade team up at the end. No, it's like him and Blade still have to fight. Even though I love their final fight scene, it's pretty good. So
pretty good.
Do you think it's a little wild how in the sewers they kill like 20 of them and then all of a sudden there's like hundreds of them just popping out everywhere? I just thought that it gets really excessive really fast.
The pawns go first,
It's the pheromones.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like the pawns went first, but then it didn't stop pawning. There were hundreds and hundreds more.
Well,
pawns.
those are a bit better pawns,
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't stop pawning.
This chess analogy is really bad. It's almost like you guys have never played chess before.
I have. I love chess actually.
Yeah.
I love to play.
Fuck you. My analogy's fine. The pawns go first. That's true. Do you move any other piece but the pawn, Dylan?
You can move.
Yeah, what? What's the question?
Move a rook.
In chess, but why would you? Who moves the rook first?
There are strategies.
You can move the knight first.
But I'm saying no. I'm saying, do you though?
Do I?
Yeah.
Like right
If you
now
play
in this moment?
No, whenever you play chess, have you ever moved one of those first?
Have I ever? Yeah, I have. It's not a good idea.
Terrible chess player right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you play chess?
It's usually not optimal.
Yeah. No, I haven't in quite a while, but I used to be alright. But
Yeah.
We should
really.
totally do a geek first party with our giant. Me and my mom had like a 12 by 12 foot chess.
I would love
So-
that.
after,
As a kid, that was
after
like my
9
dream
chess
to
and
have
checkers. And one time,
Checkers.
You
I
prefer
don't play
checkers or
we
Checkers
chess?
is dumb.
No, I said chess and checkers. Do a twofer. Come on, we can.
Well, you can. If you're gonna do checkers, you might as well throw backgammon in there. But no one likes backgammon.
I do.
Okay,
Actually.
I
wait,
like
what?
backgammon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like
That's the one with
checkers
the
chess doesn't equal like leading to
Whenever you
backgammon.
go-
I don't think
I
that's
agree with that.
When you go to like Toys R Us and you're gonna buy a chess set, it includes usually
Yeah.
checkers.
But that's
and
because no one will buy the other one. They'll buy chess and
It's
checkers.
true.
But that's
Mine is remove. I like backgammon actually. It's
That's
really-
okay.
See, see, we're at after 9.
Although I
that's
haven't
the
played
next
it enough because no one ever wants to play it, so I don't have the experience
That
with it.
feel, I know.
We're in the same spot.
See, we're throwing out board games, but anybody be down for potential Snakes and Ladders in the future?
Snakes and
Yeah.
Ladders
I'd be
is a classic.
I don't
one of the
own
greatest
Snakes
games
and
of all time.
Ladders, but you know,
I own a drinking one,
Mm.
but we can
Nice.
just
I
not
like that.
drink.
or get Slurpees instead.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll drink actually.
I'll drink.
I'll drink, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
drink the Slurpees.
And the other one, Crib, too. I feel like Crib, no one wants
Crib's
to play that.
Crib's a really well made
No.
game.
Crib is
Really
like,
well designed. Great
quality.
game design. Great level design. Just kind of all on point.
So would you say Snakes and Ladders, tomato, shoots and snakes, or shoots and
Sure,
ladders?
that's the same.
That's
but
like the American way to say it.
I like Z and Z.
I just made that.
I also think before we get to our final ratings, I also think Clue is a prime game we should play in the future.
I
as
played
well.
Clue last week. I
I
liked
have
it.
Harry
Clue's
Potter Clue.
fantastic.
Harry Potter Clue, let's
I'm
do it.
down.
Let's do it.
Once in my life.
We got lots of
Do
after
it.
9 options. I'm gonna give
Let's do
this.
that right now.
I'm gonna
I want to play
give.
some Harry Potter Clue this minute.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
let's
give
go.
this movie an 8 out of 10. I've said everything I need to. It's pretty much like I said at the beginning. Great action. There's some good comedic moments. Wesley Snipes delivers. I think there's some good horrific moments. I love the world building they do between, even though it's a little boring, like the vampire, gang of people. I like that they have a human, lawyer. That was great. I know they're the familiars, but still. Like, the Famils. And then the Reapers is cool. I love the club scene because I like things like that flesh out the world. And I think it was it was a little long at times, but I enjoyed it pretty much from start to finish. I like this a lot better than Blade 1. Blade 1, I don't know if I ever need to watch it again. I will at some point because I just do that because they're comic movies. But Blade 2, like I said, this is one that I think I would watch again in the near future because I forgot how good it was and I really enjoyed it. I think that shows because Guillermo del Toro is a great director, and when you get him doing a comic movie, that's what he does. So 8 out of 10 for me. Guess a solid B.
Solid B.
Mhm.
I can confidently say that I will never watch this movie again in my
Well,
entire
no,
life.
if we get 1 million patrons, we're gonna do a commentary
I
track.
thought it was $1 million.
Well, yeah,
No,
I mean,
1 million
I'll
patrons.
always sell out for
Yeah.
anything.
So-
at all, ever, for
so-
any amount of money.
So
really.
here are your tiers, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been wondering, 100 Patreons is me dressing up as patrons.
No, it was
It was $100.
It's to be
$100 on
equivalent
Patreon.
It's to be
is what you
debated.
said.
I
I'm
would
gonna-
rather have $100 by having 100 patrons than having.
One person give 100.
Yeah.
Me too.
But
I
But I mean, I'm not gonna complain
yeah, because
because the Geek First bank account pretty low these days.
so this hang
Let's
on.
just say we're drastically in the negative.
So this time I will let the $100 fly. I dress up as Jarlath's Joker for Halloween. 2, if we get 1,000 YouTube subscribers, we're gonna
Yeah.
do Man of Steel retro because it's the only way we're gonna do it.
Uh-huh.
If we get our YouTube income back, and then 3, if we hit 1 million patrons, we're gonna.
If we hit like 5,000 patrons, I'll dress up as Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Easily.
5,000 patrons, Margaret,
I'll even
and,
get a boob job. No, I'm just kidding.
and then 1 million patrons for a Blade 2 commentary track.
I'm really excited for this Man of Steel. Like, bring the steel case over.
Bring the steel
Oh,
I'm not.
Very
700. We still need 700 subscribers. I think it's a little ways off. So.
Another year or 2. We'll be there.
Well, so far it seems like because we're at 300, we get 100 a year. So actually, like 7 years from now,
So we'll be at our 10-year anniversary.
our 10
Yeah,
year
hopefully at some
anniversary.
point it like kind of starts climbing.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
it should, like, progressively get bigger.
Honestly, that's what happens. Is we'll gain like 20, and then it goes silent for big games like 20. So
Little spurts.
I won't lie. Trailer reactions are big for that, and I'm not a big fan of doing those. But I
That's
do
the
'em.
sellout thing that I don't like to do.
Yeah, I do them because that's what.
The trailer
So the
reactions?
fans want.
Well,
Oh yeah, those are.
Really?
If you look at our top 10,
It's
they're
a
all
big
trailer
thing on
reactions.
YouTube. People love that shit.
Yeah. Me and Taylor's trailer reaction is at like 20K or something for Star Wars.
And
Yeah.
then you got called out for Fake reaction, real reaction.
Fuck you! I never fake my reaction. I don't fake it, ladies and gentlemen.
Travis
I bring
is
the
naturally a very expressive human being.
Yeah.
I can say that with confidence from spending much time with him.
What else? We got some other Jessica. You don't rate movies, so why don't you go? Because Taylor can end on a high note. For the Blade 2 fans.
I don't remember what I gave the first one. Like, it was an okay. Watch it. So probably around the same. Honestly, like, I put it on the background.
I thought you liked these movies.
Yeah.
You know what?
She likes Trinity.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Trinity.
Okay,
that was
cool.
the only reason
I'm
I
excited for
actually...
Trinity. It sounds like the one I'm gonna like the most. So.
I didn't have any real interest in watching these ones, but I was like, if I gotta do this for the Trinity, I'm gonna do it for the Trinity.
Yeah.
So...
Anything for the tree.
Yeah, do it for the Trinity. Just like, Jeepers Creepers 3, I'm gonna have to rewatch those first two. Oh, dang.
So good.
Oh, dang.
They are good.
The first one's good.
Second one's good
The
too.
second one's
actually.
okay.
It's just tough now that I know who directed those, so it's kind of
I don't
Who
know who
directed
directed them.
a child pedophile, so it's kind of tough for me to enjoy those movies now.
Well, now you ruined it for me, too.
What's his name?
I don't know.
He didn't direct the third one, though, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Really?
he got out of
wanna
prison.
I don't want to watch these movies.
yeah. He got out of prison and directed the
That was his goal.
I gotta get out of prison so I can make the third installment.
Thanks.
So yeah, this is a movie that it was worth putting on and doing something on my phone in the background. Like, it's one of those things where you don't really need to pay attention to it. You can kind of like tune in, get the quick little quips, and then be like, oh, well, go back to whatever you were doing. Definitely did not find anything on my phone that was worth either pausing the movie to do on my phone or putting my phone down to watch. It was kind of like, it was there.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah, so if you're watching along with us, hopefully you feel the same. And if not, I'm not going to convince you to go watch it.
Fair.
He already
He
said.
already went.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he said he would never watch the movie again.
Oh,
We're on
right.
the Patreon. We've been on little sidebars and conversations with cast.
Yeah, I think it's definitely my favorite of all of them, just because it has out of all of them, it has the most kind of horrific and horror-themed vibe to it. And
If
feel
I remember,
like
Trinity is not very.
it's more comedic and action, and I'm okay with that. It's a fun
It's
ride.
the quality.
There's quality.
You don't own this one, though. You're saying it's your favorite, but you didn't own it.
I missed out on that whole, like, when the Blade movies, me and my dad were renting them, I didn't have money to buy them for myself.
Do you own
so-
any? Let me find out what a Blade collection costs on Amazon.
I'm gonna say at least $9.99 to $14.99.
I'm gonna go with $7.
For all three.
three
For
on
all three.
Blu-ray.
No, we're talking DVD.
No, I'm going Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Not
Blu-ray.
VHS.
Buying
VHS.
DVDs.
VHS.
No.
I'm
With
gonna-
the VCR.
I'm gonna say $29.
Oh, no, $49? No way.
For all three on Blu-ray?
That's such a rip.
$29.99.
No, I'm saying that's my guess. What's your guess?
I would probably say $19.99.
Okay,
$7.
Keep going while my computer's slow right now.
No, I definitely think it's just got such horror vibes to it, and I really like that for this kind of theme and what they were going for. Virus within the vampire ranks and stuff. Very cool.
There's a couple that's like $21.33.
You were actually the closest.
$24.97.
So price is-
$24.99 though. So you and Jessica.
Price
are
is
pretty
Right
close.
rules. What was yours,
Whoa,
Jessica?
whoa, go! I said $29.
That's just DVD though.
For DVD, you can get it for $8.25.
There you go. So. There you go, kids.
I wouldn't drop a loony to get that trilogy.
But yeah, I just think.
Oh wow.
Actually, I haven't seen the third one yet, so I can't say that. That's unfair.
That one's on Netflix though, so.
Good point.
You know what? Fuck that's the only one they put on Netflix. Like one, I hate when they do that, when they just put one in a series. Or like with Friday the 13th for a while, they had
Yes.
like 1, 2,
Yes.
4, 5, and then like 8, 9. It's
That's
like,
why-
where are 5, 7? Like, why are we skipping these? Like,
Just buy the first 4.
Wait, what? Anyway.
I think that it's definitely
Hashtag
a trilogy that just needs a lot more credit where it's due, and more people should definitely give it a watch if you haven't watched it. I think,
I agree with that because see how far we've come.
yeah. I mean, there's I think we need. I can't think of like a recent vampire movie that was just released.
There was that
Recent
new
Batman.
Dracula
Underworld.
Untold.
Just released.
The new what? Sorry.
New Underworld recently, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Watch
good. I have it on DVD, but I hope there's another one coming for that sequel for that. But I wish more just like action, like really intense, like Blade-esque themed vampire movies. Just I feel like there's so much untapped potential, and the kids growing up in this generation are gonna be like, oh yeah, Dracula, I know him, but like they need to have a trilogy.
Well, that game Vampire that just came out actually does look really cool.
Vampire.
Well, it needs a movie adaptation for it then. I think the kids of this generation need their Blade. They need their kind of vampire.
I think gameplay is what
teeth
makes it
into.
cool. So I think a movie would not be apt.
I think in the
Halfway.
next 5 years you'll get some sort of Blade back in media.
You think so?
I think you'll get a TV show.
I don't really want a TV show.
You're
I
in
don't
the TV
want.
show.
I don't want a Netflix series.
Dis-
I don't want.
okay,
That's what you're gonna get.
Disney owns Blade. They're not putting Blade in the fucking MCU. I'm
Why
sorry.
not?
Because they don't want vampires running around with Thanos. Like, if Punisher and Daredevil ain't in the MCU, Blade's not going to happen. That's going to be a Disney... maybe they'll get a
Punisher and
Disney streaming
Daredevil are in
service.
the MCU though.
They're not really.
Yeah,
They're
they
like
are.
Star Wars canon.
They
It doesn't
talk
really
about
matter that
the
much.
New York.
Where were they
stuff.
in Infinity War?
Infinity War? Isn't that they're not there yet?
So it's true that they did mention that stuff, but they haven't in like Luke Cage or Defenders or Jessica Jones season 2. They kind of dropped. They kind of stopped doing that. Really.
And all the shows they said take place before the snap, so they're never going to get involved in any of that sort
But
of
it's still in the
stuff.
same universe.
Okay, but I mean, like, those guys aren't going into the movies. It's not going to happen. And if they're not, especially Daredevil, who's like just a classic hero, and Punisher is one of the most popular ones, if they're not, Blade's not going in. I think he's too dark. He doesn't fit in the MCU Feige world, in my opinion. So maybe you'll get a streaming movie, but I think you'll get a streaming movie or a TV show on their Disney app. I don't think you're going to get a movie high budget in the theaters again, because that doesn't fit. I don't see Blade walking around Disneyland, Same reason as Punisher. You don't have a Punisher guy like, hey kids, want a picture with Frank Castle? Like, no. It's not on brand, So.
Do you feel like Ghost Rider could?
He'll get I think he could be in another series as well. I think doing a Ghost Rider TV show is a big mistake. I don't think he could carry his own show. I think they just
Carry his own movie.
No, he did not.
He could.
He tried.
I think he could carry his own movie, but not those Nick Cage.
Did I send you the article about that? Nick Cage wanting an R-rated Ghost Rider movie?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Apparently, Nick Cage did a vampire movie back in '88.
He's
Oh
in.
my
He's
God.
still.
Vampires,
He's in
yes.
Verna right now.
Is he in Verna right now?
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
One of Matt's coworkers actually is filming with him.
Really?
Yeah, he's an extra on the movie.
Do you know the name of the movie?
I would have to ask. Have you watched
I couldn't find
the
him.
Shadows?
What we do in the
I watched
shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes, I told you guys about this like 3 years ago. You know,
I watched it last summer. It's out in 2014. It was a pretty good vampire movie.
it's directed by Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok. He plays the main.
It's on
vampire.
Netflix.
It
I
is
just
on
watched.
Netflix.
I
I
just
wanna watch
watched
it,
it last week. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
I want to watch his other movies, so I'm gonna watch that one when I get some time.
Yeah,
What
Hunt
do
for
you-
the Wilder People.
What do you do in the
What We Do in the Shadows.
in the shadows?
Yeah, it's a vampire mockumentary.
Yeah,
Mockumentary.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Like
pretty
Disaster Artist.
That's not a
Good.
mockumentary.
Yeah, no.
That's a
Okay.
biopic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to the
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 5 out of 10.
7 out of 5.
7 out of 5 out of 10.
My brain can't handle that, Taylor. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
So out of
Oh.
5 it's a 7, but out of 10 it's a 5. So what is that? So what is the percentage of a 7 over 5?
Oh.
Give me the percentage of 7 out of 5.
7 divided by 5,
Yeah.
1.4.
1.4.
And then
So-
divided
and
by
then-
10,
And then,
it's 14%.
no, that should be the way it works.
It seems a lot lower than
No,
what I
because
want.
if a 5 out of 5...
In business school, what right do you have to
No,
talk
but
about
okay,
numbers?
no, a
What do you
5
know
out of...
about numbers?
No, but listen, a 5 out of 5 would be 100%, correct?
No.
Right? So then if he did 2 more over that,
Are you...
because I'm trying to subtract, because then if it was 5 out of 10, that's take away 50%.
No, it's a losing battle trying to figure this out.
So 7...
So
you-
140% is the 7 out of 5.
Okay, and then, so take 50% away from that, that's
70.
90. Oh, it's... Wait, what was it? 140?
Yeah.
Yeah, and take 50, that would only be 90.
Oh, I thought you said 50%.
No, so it's a 90% movie.
That was way too much effort.
I don't know how to explode into
I actually ended up working out though, so good job. That's probably what you would have given it.
So it's a 7.5 out of 10, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, no, 7 out of 5
So
out
it
of
doesn't
10.
make sense.
I'm surprised you
Whatever.
ranked it lower than me, I'm surprised.
It's just an arbitrary number, who cares?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into the Mar Retrospective. If you want to find all our other stuff, go down below. That's where all the links are. You can find all our
Down
Comic Con
below.
coverage, Next week, I think there's going to be a Mission Impossible review, and there's going to be Christopher Robin's coming soon, which I think I'm just doing solo, but there's some movies.
I feel inclined to do that with you.
Okay.
He feels inclined.
But you know what? If you want good geek goodness, we're here for you. So until next time.
Good geek goodness.
Have a marvelous.
Oh, marvelous.
Cut. 3, 2, 1.
Scene.
Cut the check,
Feige.
Feige.
I wasn't for that reference.
fine.
I don't get it.
It's a great quote from a great character.
They're like, yo, nice card deck. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I didn't see any pictures of
Snapchat.
that.
I put him on
Oh,
Snapchat.
okay. I was
You
like,
can chat to him on Snapchat, so we don't.
Yeah,
get
but I like
messages.
putting in the group because there's more Yu-Gi-Oh oriented
Mm.
families.
Build the community.
Yeah, the 3 of you, and
Yeah.
actually the majority of rules.
Tyler.
Yeah, well, you two always go off on Star Wars bullshit that no one cares about.
I've
You
never-
guys always talking about Pokemon. This stuff happens. That group chat used to be nice, but now it's just memes and off-topic conversations.
Fuck Kirk
That's
and
why
Packer.
no one knows when the casts are, where they are, or what time.
That's true. It's a
That chat. We need we should make 2
That's
chats.
what the
One
crew
for
group
actually
is.
useful things.
That's what the crew group is on Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't have Facebook on my phone. I just have Messenger.
You what?
Look at how he's dressed.
yeah.
Now tell me, what does that remind you of?
Target!
Yes, thank you.
Really? No.
Red and khaki.
No, it's too crimson.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I don't see the
Crimson
resemblance.
See, I saw him and I didn't think of Target immediately.
I didn't
Dylan's just like
immediately.
that's a fly looking guy. Just so everyone knows, free Slurpee Day at 7-Eleven, but it's only a small one. So after this cast, if you guys want to go get that, you
Oh, that's a
can.
good deal.
I wish I had known about them beforehand.
Let's go, dude.
Yes.
I know. I screwed up.
Why did you not? You talking about like birthday cake?
To be
and
fair, it's not
everything.
his responsibility to tell us.
That's
It's
true.
like-
That's why you should have the 7-Eleven app. That's what I was telling too. These are
Ew,
all things.
7-Eleven app?
No. You buy 6
Discount on
Slurpee.
the fucking piece of shit Tosquito?
Buy 6 Slurpee, get 7th free. All these points. Like remember the bag of chips that I got? That was completely free.
Completely. You didn't have to
Absolutely
buy. You
free.
didn't have to buy 7 other bags of chips to get
No,
it.
I didn't. It was just these points. Like, look at this. You buy 2 bags of chips, 400
How do you get
points.
points?
Boom.
Okay,
On the
Buy
app.
shit.
On the app.
I can
There you go.
count the last 7 Slurpees I've had, and it's definitely been like 5 years.
So in 6 years,
Well,
you
that's
know,
that's your problem. I'm gonna recommend. Yeah, I got Sour Patch Watermelon, fantastic. Birthday cake, which was fantastic. My favorite Gummy Bear. Gummy Bear actually tastes more like the Blue Whale candies.
we should get sponsored by 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
That'd be
100%.
sick.
That's the dream.
Just free Slurpees.
You just gotta put it up at your computer, have it facing the
They would just
camera.
send us like a crate full of
No,
slush.
they'll send us a cease and desist. Hey, stop drinking our Slurpees. Hey, you want to see where I am in there?
Did you call me Tay?
No, I said Taylor. I'm never gonna call you Tay.
What's wrong
No,
with Tay?
He wants
Oh,
us to
yeah.
call him Tay.
No,
I heard Kate.
No, I-
Yeah, you're in
Nice
it.
try, nerd.
You're probably not even in the picture now.
Yeah, you're good.